All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome into today's edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as always, we're going to be diving into the markets. And Bitcoin is looking fantastic. We're kind of nearing that 48,000 mark as I'm recording this, and we've been talking about why there was no reason for people to be bearish during this time period. I'll go over why I'm continuing my bullish stance on where the market sits right now, as well as some of the tokens that are doing very well in the gaming markets. Why the gaming markets is once again getting a lot of attention with some of the liquidity, and then some of the ones that I think haven't really made major moves yet that there could be opportunities with. So without further ado, let's get in the game. And as always, guys, drop down, hit that like button and subscribe. We're trying to hit that 100,000 mark before the end of Q1. Help us out, like and subscribe down below. And a quick shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game. We have some amazing sponsors ranging from launch pads, game studios, individual games, etc. So we have Vulcan Forged, Ultra, Redato, Dreams Quest. We have Uncaged, Game Starter, NordVPN, as well as 96.com. And we'll be talking about that at the end of the show. But obviously, the big attention right now is on this market, and the market is looking absolutely fantastic. We have Bitcoin at 47.8 as of recording this. And as we see here, if we just filter to the weekly chart here, a nice little 11% move on Bitcoin this week. So we love to see that. And it just made too much sense. There was too much bearish sentiment after the ETF approval. And we screamed that here on the show that, despite the sell the news narrative, like, you really think these fund, and Becker had a great tweet about this today. You think these fund managers are going to let Bitcoin just completely slide while all their institutional customers come through the door and started investing in that ETF? Absolutely not. Right? Like, they're trying to make a statement that that was the time to get in to their clients. So as we see here, we're nearing that 50,000 mark. And I wouldn't be surprised if, we eclipse that mark in this little bit of a run, if I'm completely honest with you. So with the ETF and now with the halving right around the corner, it's just this perfect recipe for a bullish narrative. And there was just too much sell pressure. So one thing we're seeing in the market as well is gaming is getting so much liquidity over the last 24 hours. And this is just what's tracked as far as the gaming tabs in the gaming sector. 1.5 billion in trading volume over the last 24 hours. And as we see here, Mavia with 120 million, Illuvium's getting a ton of money through the door. Ronin continues its run of getting that liquidity. So, there is a lot of focus and attention on the gaming markets. And what are the reasons for that? Well, the number one reason for the liquidity that's coming through the gaming side right now is definitely Heroes of Mavia. Heroes of Mavia with a flawless launch. And, everyone on the timeline's talking about it. Everyone on the timeline is playing this game currently, sharing their strategies, sharing how to build the optimal base, how to win these different missions, level up your HQ. And if we think back on the previous runs, guys, we had stuff like Big Time Pump because it had the attention. And I tweeted about this actually. And I think it's very true. One thing about crypto gaming is it's a lot about who has the ball in their court, as I say right here, right? So we saw it when Big Time launched, and then, their token completely crushed it because they had all the attention in the space. Prime also had a huge run when parallel trading card game was, at the top and was just the talk of the crypto Twitter, the talk of the gaming space. And then Shrapnel, when they first launched, had all the hype. They had the ball in their court, right? So, narrative trades, I think, in crypto gaming are some of the easiest to position yourself for. Like, when a project is running with that much momentum, usually that means that their assets are a pretty good buy at that point in time. And for some reason, some people on the timeline, some people out there thought that Mavia's token was already overvalued, which I don't really even think so at this point in time, right? Like, the token is still, if I believe correctly, let's go look at the fully diluted here, 1.3 billion. So it's still less than Axie Infinity. It's less than a couple other games out there. So, I mean, definitely, in my opinion, I wouldn't be buying this right now because of where it has ran since it launched. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing continue to rocket. And we have people like Voodoo Child, who I believe this is like a rapper. He posted, "This game is addicting AF," and he's playing Heroes of Mavia. So that is pretty cool to see. Some other coins out there that are doing well at this point in time. We have Virtue Poker. If we look at the daily, up 30%. This is one of our favorite low market cap GambleFi coins, and they're actually hosting a tournament this weekend. One of my communities, TTOO, is going to be involved in this $5,000 crossover championship between Neo Tokyo, ETH Denver, Rug Radio, Decentral Games. So this one will be really cool, and they're hosting that this weekend. So if you're a part of TTOO, go check that out. They're having a really nice bounce. We see Beam also up 15% on the daily. Champs, one of our favorite low cap individual games, 4 million market cap, and this one's also fully diluted. It's up 15% on the day. I think we basically called the local bottom on playable games. We mentioned if you missed our initial entry, that it was getting near that time period to buy at that 18 million market cap. It's now at about a $23 million market cap. And I still would say that that 15 to 20 million range was the sweet spot to be able to jump in there. And it's just good to see this relief. Altcoins were getting a little bit hammered over the last couple of weeks when you looked at the price action. And then when we see stuff like Altura bouncing 11%, we'll zoom out here and just, 30%, 27%. Uncaged, one of our sponsors here, they announced a revamp to their tokenomics and their studio. This thing's absolutely rocketed. It's at 5 cents currently. We have Altura up 11%. Based, another one of our favorite GambleFi plays here, up 11% on the 24 hours. They just hired a new COO. And I mean, this actually really makes me excited. They hired Mike, who has a prestigious background at major platforms like FanDuel and over 20 years of seasoned experience in the gambling industry. So he'll be operating the daily operations of the casino as well as reaching out to VIP customers. And I don't know if it's a good thing that I'm a VIP customer. Maybe I use the platform too much, but I did get reached out to here. So I hope to, I'll chat with him a little bit, see if I can get some alpha on what's coming from the based platform. Another one that seems to be making a lot of strides and improvement right now, guys, is Myria. Myria is up 10% on the day and 18% on the month, slowly but surely. Like if we filter here on the 30 days, most projects have gotten hammered on this 30-day chart, like completely decimated when it comes to price action, because it was just not a good time for altcoins, and the sell the news narrative was hitting a lot of these projects very, very hard. But then if we filter on the 30 days, quietly, they're up 18% this month, and they're revamping the entire platform here. So as we see here, it's all coming together. No gas, just great games made better with Web3. Myria Studios is plugging into the chain soon. So as you see here, there's the utility page, the node page, the node benefits, one of their games you can play for free. You can jump in. And this one right here is what I think is going to set their platform the most on fire, which is the cricket game with AB de Villiers. Cricket is such a worldwide game. And I think that people like in America, when I've told people that, they're like, what the heck are you talking about? But cricket's so popular. I think that's the huge catalyst underneath their game umbrella to be able to catapult Myria to where I think that they'll eventually be as one of the biggest and best game studios within Web3. And then we look throughout the rest of the watch list, like, once again, guys, and I'll say this a lot, but today's not the day where I'm going to go out and buy a lot of things. Now, there are some things on a pretty good dip here. As we see here, Meta Fighters down 7%. They've been crushing it. They have a centralized exchange listing coming in around the corner, and this one's a super low market cap. This one's a 1 million market cap, so I have my eyes there. I'm surprised that Honeyland isn't getting a little more love in the market, down 20% on the month. And they did just recently hit new all-time highs, so there is a pullback when it comes to that. But I'm still super bullish on what's going on over at Honeyland, especially with their upcoming in-game quest going on. This is an interesting one. Magnum Trading. Haven't talked about this one much. This is a sniper, like a sniper bot trading product, and you can set the parameters how you want it. I've tested some of these. Really, before I used this one, I didn't have much that I really enjoyed. And I know this isn't specifically gaming, but for those out there that, are trying to snipe coins on launch or set parameters, this is a pretty good option. And it's at a $1.6 million market cap. Mixmob just launched on Solana. And if you look at the all chart here, You know, like it saw the launch pump, the listing pump on I think it was on Bybit, and now we see it around that 6 cent level, 8 million market cap. I think there's a lot to come with this new launch with Mixmob. So they're not getting a lot of that attention currently. And I think a lot of the attention could flow there in the near future. Otherwise, I do think Root Network still a pretty good buy. Dubs, anything under 350 and this market cap under 35 million, I think is a super, super value level to be accumulating. I'm also keeping my eyes on Ronin. We've talked about Ronin quite a bit as we see here on the week. Ever since they got that Binance listing, it's been nothing but downward price action. And that's typical. When these big exchanges list, most of the time there's a big pump and then you'll see a slow burn because what else is left to propel the token other than genuine network effect, genuine new games coming through, more announcements, etc. So in the short term, this could turn out to be a pretty good buy for those who can stomach it if you are willing to DCA. Otherwise, I do think Kaneko is still very undervalued. Shrapnel has their playtest going on right now, if you guys haven't seen. I know a lot of people have asked me about Shrapnel and what's going on in the ecosystem. They have their $100,000 tournament, stage 1, STX1, going on now. If you have an extraction pack, you can download this game on Epic Games right now. So to summarize, guys, like I'm so focused on the positions we're already in. I'm not adding too many new positions. Even if I think that Bitcoin's headed to 50K, I genuinely am okay with where we've positioned ourselves. And it's ironic because earlier this week, once again, I also said when things are boring is when you should be buying. And when things are hot like this is not the time to have trigger fingers and get the itch to go FOMO into something that's pumping, right? So like plan for these time periods during the boring times and the lulls in the market. And you're going to be sitting here today very excited about your positions that you've already planted seeds in. And this is why we have a long-term mindset as well. I'm willing to DCA when it's ugly. And I'm willing to DCA when crypto Twitter is telling you we're bearish because of the ETF launch, which is a completely bullish metric. And then we have the hat. It just didn't make sense to me. When you see the whole crowd going one way, you go the other, and that's typically going to work in the investing world. So shout out to all of you guys who accumulated the lows with me back when we were in the 20,000s in Bitcoin. And then shout out to you guys who DCA'd solid positions during this little bit of a time period where things were a little bit overly bearish. So I'm excited about where our positions are today. There's not much that I would be buying, but some of these low market cap tokens, I do think there's an opportunity to scoop up, and then you'll see those materialize over the coming weeks to obviously a year or so heading into the full-blown next bull market. And then a couple news bits before we get into some sponsor updates. This is huge news. Off the Grid, you guys know I'm super bullish on Off the Grid. It's an Avalanche game. We've seen people like Dr. Disrespect and Clicks and a lot of influencers jump in here into Teardrop Island, as they're calling it. And as mentioned, this is going to be on the subnets of Avalanche on their own guns chain or whatever they're going to end up calling it. But Xboxers Assemble, a wild Off the Grid page, has appeared on the Xbox store and is ready to be added to your watch list. Come on, Zeros, smash that watch list button and share it with your friends. This is huge. Like, Avalanche games are really, really like, they float under the radar because everyone focuses on IMX, everyone focuses on Ronin. But in reality, like if Shrapnel polishes up the environments and some of the gameplay, they're going to be one of those hit games out of Web3. But this right here, in my opinion, is the biggest, best AAA game that we're going to see come out of crypto in the short term. 𝗏𝗏𝗡 has proven to be probably the best mobile game coming out of crypto so far. And then on top of that, Off the Grid coming to Xbox, and not only Xbox, they're going to be on PlayStation and PC as well. I couldn't be more bullish on this ecosystem, and it's amazing to see Web3 games. Yes, this is a Web3 game. For those who don't know, they've done node sales. They have a token launching eventually that you can get your hands on. So, I mean, this is probably the most bullish Web3 game overall that I've seen. And with stuff like Xbox and PlayStation picking it up and running with it, I think this is going to absolutely crush it once it goes live. And then we have Block Games with their app launch. So you can maximize your airdrop points and become an early adopter by participating on the platform. I've gotten guys like, what's funny, I've thrown so much airdrop alpha out there over the gaming time periods, the play to airdrop stuff, just everything like that. But what's funny is people got airdropped like $50 of Mavia tokens just for downloading the freaking game. And they said it wasn't enough money. But if you do the math, they gave 100,000 people $50. Think about how much free money they just gave away. People are so entitled in crypto. $50 for free is just not enough. But hey, I digress. And if you held your airdrop, it's actually worth way more now at $5.50. But hey, I'm going to keep giving you the alpha. Go play around on the Block Games app and get those airdrop points. And you're likely to go get some free tokens whenever that time does come. So that's some of the news bits. And then let's talk about our sponsors here on In the Game. Ultra just recently ran this survey. A lot of people say Web2 gamers don't care about profits. They don't care about in-game currencies. They don't care, right? But they actually do. They ran this survey amongst PC gamers. We're not talking about Web3 gamers, okay? 34% of gamers are interested in earning in-game currencies, while 33% prefer real money. And then interest in earning crypto, 18%, and NFTs, 19% is lower amongst gamers, but once they understand that crypto and NFTs can be just transferred over to real world currencies and value, like this is a trend that isn't going to go away with play to earn and earnings inside of video games. And it's clearly of interest, and it's an education thing that we need to continue to push. So I thought this was a really interesting kind of dynamic that they ran here with this PC survey. And I think there's a big update, like a new roadmap or something coming up soon with Ultra, and I will cover that whenever we get it. For those people, that are looking for lava airdrops inside of Vulcan Forged ecosystem, you guys know I love Vulcan Forged. If you hold 2,000 PYR and you migrate it over to their chain and just hold them in your MetaMask or the MyForge, you're going to start getting lava airdrops, and they have begun. So you still have time to get involved there. And they're pushing lots of updates. There's the 4,000 peer monthly challenges. And if you do the math, $5, that's $20,000 in monthly challenges that they just announced. They have Vulcan 4, which is their conferences, date and venue reveal. They have new updates for 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Runner, which are two of their gaming products. And then Metascapes and Vulcan Fight League alpha releases on Discord. And I'm super bullish on Metascapes. I think Metascapes can be one of their killer apps in their ecosystem. So shout out to Vulcan Forge. Everyone here knows I'm super bullish on what Jamie and the team's doing over there. And then as far as Dreams Quest, I have to say, like, from the public sentiment that got ridiculed because of the price action over the bear market, it's been impressive to see that they're continuing to build and they're continuing to push a narrative in this product. And on top of that, they're doing some pretty cool things in entertainment, television, film, music. Like, they have some pretty cool stuff in the chamber, which I can't share yet, but I will cover them whenever they come to light. They just posted another dev log about their game mechanics regarding the crystals and spells. And if you haven't updated on this ecosystem recently, I would definitely go. We're going to hop out of here. I mean, I'm excited to just continue to watch this market, continue to see the things that are growing in crypto gaming. We're seeing products like Mavia hit the market. We're seeing Off the Grid hit the Xbox store. We're seeing a lot of these studios and ecosystems and games really upping their game. And it's just an exciting time in Web3 gaming. And if you've been paying attention throughout the bull to the bear, and now kind of in this middle ground of bull and bear market, like, I'm pretty sure your bags are looking pretty healthy at this time period if you've been watching In the Game. So shout out to all of you guys. Like and subscribe. And I'll be back on Monday, as always, to give you guys all the latest in the Web3 gaming space. Play well, my friends.